You are listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
And it might sound a little different today because we are recording at the LCMS Youth Gathering in New Orleans.
Yes, we are.
Sarah, what gathering is this for you? Is this your third one?
This is my third.
This is my fourth with KFUO. And we have some guests, and we get to ask them the same question, what number gathering this is for them as well. Today's Coffee Hour is underwritten in part by Concordia University, Nebraska. You can learn more about Concordia University, Nebraska by visiting cune.edu. Joining us today, the Reverend Dr. Jamison Hardy. He serves as president of the Concordia University System. Dr. Hardy, welcome back.
It's great to be with you.
It is time for an update on Concordia University System. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. The Reverend Dr. Douglas Spittel also serves as vice president for the Concordia University System. Welcome back.
It's great to be here.
All right, what number youth gathering is this for you, Dr. Spittel?
This is number 1.
Hey.
Number 1. We are recording before things really get going and busy.
Yeah, it's still quiet in here.
We're in the exhibit hall outside of regular exhibit hours. Things are still getting set up, so you'll probably hear machines beeping in the background and things being constructed and all kinds of equipment. So you haven't really seen much yet of what happens, but have you ever been in a place where about 20,000 LCMS people have gathered?
Well, I've been to conventions, so yeah, I've been for that. But
that's only 3,000.
Yeah, that's not 20.
That's not 20,000.
I'm excited to meet so many future Concordia University students.
Absolutely. All right. Dr. Hardy, what number is this for you?
This is my 6th, and ironically, in 1992, I had graduated from high school and came to my first gathering here at New Orleans. I was telling Dr. Spittel, I found my way on the stage by accident. And it's a long story we don't have time for.
The stage?
Yeah. No, the stage at the Superdome.
Boy.
At mass events?
In 1992. And so here we come around to 2025, and I'll be back on the stage. This time I'll be invited.
On purpose.
So.
Oh, boy. I'm sure that's a story.
How are the Concordia Universities involved in this LCMS Youth Gathering?
Yeah, so, we have this tremendous set of displays for all of our Concordias. And we are going to be promoting, as I said, on the main stage on Tuesday night, CUS and all of our Concordias. We see consistently at the end of a national youth gathering, we see a spike in enrollment. It's just by nature. And so CUS has a significant part to play here to encourage church work preparation and just attendance at all of our Concordias.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. What are you guys expecting to experience in the next few days with the Concordia University System?
I have no idea.
This is
my first time. I'm hopefully, like I said, meeting a lot of future students. Them having the opportunity to meet our admissions people at the booths and to find out more information about the experiences and the education they can receive at a Concordia University. And maybe it become the beginning of a journey for them choosing which one. I really encourage all families that have juniors and seniors in high school. It's time to start considering college if that's the direction they want to go in. Well, consider a Concordia. Put that on your list. Have a look at it. We have so many different options for vocations and for education majors. I think it's a fit for any of our students. And like you say, you've got thousands here. We'd love to see them. We'd love to see them all at our Concordias. I don't know if our Concordias are ready to accept that many, but
I'm sure they figure a way.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, tell us some highlights of the Concordia University System area. We can see it from where we're sitting right now, and it looks very exciting. So what are some of the highlights of that area over there right now?
Well, the ironic part, as you can see, is, they're all distinctive. Mm-hmm. So there's no unifying theme amongst the Concordias, but they all have their special thing that they're promoting or that they're highlighting, which I always appreciate with our Concordias. We are a system. We are one system with 5 colleges and 6 campuses, but they each have their own personality. And it's really cool when you walk over there and you can see all these different things at each booth. And, you got hats and shirts and whatever other things they're giving away, which is outstanding. But no, we're really looking forward to a lot of folks stopping by and getting to meet all of our representatives.
Now, you guys have been busy. You had a lot of visits this year. We've caught up on some of those visits over the last few conversations we've had, but you've also been busy with district conventions. Would you like to provide an update for us from those?
So Douglas and I made a strategic decision back in October-ish that we were going to be at every district convention. So there's 35 district conventions.
Wow. That's a lot.
And as you both know, June is kind of convention month.
Yep.
The first 3 Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays of every week in June, there's 4 or 5 conventions. And so what we did is we enlisted board members from the CUS, Douglas, myself, Paul Philp, and Mark Braden, and we scheduled everybody at every convention. And so I did 17 myself. I was parliamentarian at 6 of those 17. So in 6 of the conventions, I had an official capacity. And then in the other ones, I just was a visitor and got some stage time. But it is, I'll let Doug speak for his experience, but we have had a phenomenal time getting to meet folks, a lot of positive feedback to what we're doing. And it was the greatest value. And I have to say, thanks to the Schwann Foundation, we received a Schwann grant that allowed us financially to be able to do that. And so we want to give thanks to the Schwann Foundation for that. But, I told him the other day, we will be finding a way to do it again in 3 years because it just bore that much fruit to be able to get to meet people, speak on stage, answer questions, and just be present. It really was valuable. Tiring, but valuable.
Yeah, tell us about your experience.
Oh, yeah. I was able to go to 12. I was knocked out of 1 because of some vile disease. So I just had to pull
let's say virus, Spittel, not disease.
Yeah.
It means like it's ongoing.
I'm better now.
That's the important.
And then there was a weather delay that took out my flights, and there was no way I could get to the one. So, but from coast to coast, visiting all of our districts, first of all, how hospitable they are, how welcoming they were, giving us opportunity to be there, to, in many cases, speak to their delegates, to at least put up a presentation or a slide, to meet people and to answer questions. And sometimes this was an opportunity to reconnect where they hadn't really connected with our Concordia Universities in many years, decades sometimes. And now they had a representative from CUS they could actually talk to and get, firsthand information. And it was very much appreciated. I appreciated it. I think they appreciated it. It was just really wonderful to be out there in the Synod at our different districts in such varied places. I went everywhere from Southeastern District to the Texas District to the California Nevada Hawaii District to the Montana District, back to the New Jersey District. It was at large districts, small districts. Just wonderful seeing the collegiality and the fraternity among the Christians gathered at our district conventions.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you hope.
Yeah.
It really does. Doug and I had one convention with CNH, we were together, but it really gives you hope. I told President Harrison, I always had a respect for him for what he did, or what he does during the convention cycle, but being with him at 17 conventions and then he had probably 10 more or 15 more, it really gives you hope, though, because the camaraderie was really good. Yeah. It was just across the Senate.
Mm-hmm. So if we want to take coffee hour on the road, it sounds like we have to travel with you guys, with CUS.
But, that's a whole other topic, but I think you might want to consider it because, like I said, it really, because look, the way that the convention cycle starts, you got January is the first convention.
In North Dakota.
Well, no, SELC is down in Florida.
In Florida.
Oh, okay.
I was in Florida.
I might volunteer for that one.
Okay.
Well, but he was in Florida. I was in North Dakota. He was in, 75, 80 degree weather. Yeah. I was in minus 20. Same weekend. So.
Did you guys draw straws for that one?
No. I was parliamentarian in North Dakota, so I had to go there. So he was special guest.
I had to go to Florida.
Yeah, he had to go.
I'm sorry.
Rough life.
So,
It was wonderful. And that was my first district when I was called into the ministry. So it's a small district.
Yeah.
It was very much like going home. And I was very thankful to District President Vanaskas for being so gracious and inviting me up, and I got to speak to them. So it was very much kind of a homecoming for me.
Yeah. Yeah, tell us some more highlights. What was so exciting? You guys are just beaming about this. I mean, the enthusiasm is very palpable. What was so exciting about being able to do this?
As you know, there are some controversial topics going on in CUS. Concordia Ann Arbor's downsizing being one of them. Concordia, Texas being another. And prior approval process is another. Lutheran identity is another. And so the fact that we were there gave us the ability to actually thwart some of the silly talk that was going on. I want to shout out here to President Gibson and President Mike Lang in CNH. Doug and I were at CNH convention, and there was a specific resolution about prior approval. And we were sitting in the front row, in the front table, right by the dais. And we had a conversation with one of our buddies who was the chair of this floor committee. and they fixed the resolution before it came to the floor and then let us speak to it.
Wow.
I mean, this didn't happen at every convention, but a lot of conventions, we were able to, clarify things that were rumored or things that were just, talked about. And I got to tell you, that was phenomenal because in almost every case, we shut it down before it even got going. The prior approval panel process, Doug has all these documents on our website, cus.edu, and you can go and look at the stuff. And, you have this resolution that says, to make the prior approval process more transparent. And either one of us get up and go, just go to the website. It's there. There's no secrecy in this. That kind of stuff really gained traction and really provided for kind of putting down these rumor mills and this criticism. So that's just one example of our presence besides the interaction. In South Dakota, it was minus 30 on the second day. And so, I was a vicar in South Dakota, so it was like a coming home for me. But, we had other things that we enjoyed as well that had nothing to do with theology. So,
And my home district where I grew up is Southeastern District. I got to be there. And again, they had a resolution, and President Harmon said, well, CUS is here. Let's have them and speak to it. And again, I was able to speak to it. They passed a resolution that fit their needs, but it also reflected what really is. And so just having that opportunity to have open communication, and that's really what at CUS we're all about. We want complete transparency. We are the church's universities, and we work for the good of the church. And we're here to answer questions, and we'll give you the truth.
We are at the LCMS Youth Gathering in New Orleans, and we are talking with leadership of the Concordia University System. We'll continue the conversation in just a moment right here on the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
At Concordia University, Nebraska, discover a distinctly Christian community that equips students to live by faith with courage, character, and conviction. Intentionally combining our Christian faith, Lutheran heritage, rigorous academics, and practical real-life experiences, we prepare students to fulfill a higher purpose in their vocations and life. Learn more about Concordia University, Nebraska at our website, cune.edu. That's cune.edu.
Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
We are at the LCMS Youth Gathering in New Orleans, and we are chatting with leadership of the Concordia University System, Dr. Hardy and Dr. Spittel. We've talked about your visits to district conventions and all the opportunities you've had to connect with so many people through those at those conventions, and opportunities to clarify what the work of Concordia University System is and how the Concordias are serving the LCMS. Before we came on to record today, you shared with me some exciting news. You have some scholarships to share. Tell us about the scholarships.
We do.
Yeah, no, this is one of the joys. Douglas did a lot of work at looking at all of our endowment scholarship monies. And without going too deep into kind of the processes on this, suffice it to say, we were able to go through and identify every single scholarship, what the purpose was for, all these things. And what we came up with is and this is something that I wanted to do from day one, and that is we wanted to provide a $5,000 voucher scholarship to our church workers. We did the mathematics with what we have available, and we were able to come up with a $105,000 scholarship, so $500,000 that were given away, 20 students at each Concordia, the first 20 students. We also have another pool of money set aside for another division of church workers that we're going to be able to give away. And we had 250 applications to date, roughly to date. We had about 115 or 20 of those come in with the first 20 minutes of it being open in June. I am just ecstatic about this. This is the first time that CUS has been able to give actual cash to students and to reduce church worker debt, and the burden of the cost. I've said this at the Higher Things Conference. I've said it in a lot of district conventions. If finances are your obstacle for going into church work, come talk to me. That's not an obstacle that's going to keep you from going into church work. And so we're just thrilled about this. We're hoping that this also helps motivate some other potential givers who want to contribute to the endowment side of this. I would love to be able to give all 846 church workers a $5,000 scholarship. We don't have that capacity today, but we are in a great position to be able to continue to grow this. and hopefully into the future be able to give a $5,000 voucher to every churchwork student we have in the system. So it's just a great thing. It's a great thing. Doug did a lot of great work with a company by the name of Spittel that we've hired that tracks all of the times when the students submit. Because how are we going to choose the top 20? It's time-stamped. It's time-stamped. And they have to get their pastor to verify their membership. And maybe you can talk a little bit about how it's categorized and whatnot on the website there for us.
It's categorized any way we want it, really, but it's categorized by the school they're attending. We had it also by what degree program they're in, what church work, vocational studies they're entered in. And then there's a bunch of other questions, personal stuff. But yeah, we're able to track all that instantly. When it opened up on June the 16th at noon Eastern Daylight Time, I sent Dr. Hardy a text and said, well, here they come. And I had already set up mine that it automatically forwarded those emails into another box. But he hadn't.
I'm deficient.
And so his phone sounded like a casino. Ka-ching, ding, 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 ding. But it was wonderful because all these, the connection was made. And we would love to, as he said, we would love to give a scholarship to every single one of the applicants. We don't have that much money yet. Your donations can be made through cus.edu. And I'm serious about it. We joke about it, but I'm serious about that. We want the church to help us with this. But we now have a connection with all those students, and we want them to know, even if they don't get that scholarship this year, reapply next year. And we're going to continue working to find ways to do this and to help our students, because we don't want church workers coming out of school in debt. And the easiest way to deal with that is to keep the costs affordable.
Yeah, you mentioned this is the first time that CUS has been able to do this.
To my knowledge, and I could be corrected by somebody who might have a much more long history than I, but it certainly is in the last 15 to 20 years for sure. Now, that's not to say CUS isn't giving money to the universities. CUS has given money to the universities.
Right.
We have a separate set of monies that we have. Remember the campaign for the sake of the church? That campaign, we've given money. CUS, prior to my being president, the president, Dean Wenthe and Paul Philp, they did give money to the universities, but it's never been directly to the students. This money will be deposited directly into their student account. We've also asked them to make a commitment that they'll stay in church work for 5 years. There's a little bit of sneakiness on that part for me. I did this as a district president because in the LCMS, your retirement is connected to a 5-year investment time frame. And so I'm encouraging them to get vested by staying in the profession for 5 years. And so, that's just kind of a fatherly thing, on my part, but it's also a good thing for the sake of the church, right? So, so we, the thing about the synod and giving money to our Concordias and our seminaries, by the way, it used to be large portions of cash and big pots of money that went to both the seminaries and the universities. That is no longer the case. I think it's down to less than 0.5%. So, this little bit, and people say to me, oh, it's $500,000. That's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money. And I tell people all the time, little things add up to big things. So if you have 10 little things, if I can do this 10 times, that'll equal $5 million. In 10 years, that's going to sound a whole lot different than 500. By God's grace, in 10 years, I'm going to have enough in CUS to be able to give all church workers $5,000. So, this is, we're starting somewhere, but I intend to go big with this. I'm not going to rest until we get the whole thing.
And this money that we're giving away direct to the students for scholarships, this is in addition to the For the Sake of the Church, which we're still sending directly to the universities.
Yeah, they're still getting
that money. We just through some research, we were able to find the resources to do this, and now we're going to use that as a foundation to grow the support and grow that endowment and do more of this in the future.
And would this be in addition to any church work scholarships they might receive at the universities?
This is stackable with everything. None of what we're doing is accounted for on the university side. The presidents know about what we're doing. They're thrilled about it because I'll give an example. In Chicago's case, Chicago has a program and $5,000 max out of pocket. Well, take a guess what? There's no collusion on this, but our $5,000 covers it. So students that go to Chicago now, theoretically, will have $0 out of pocket. I mean, based on what Chicago's doing already and based on what we're doing, theoretically, they should have $0 out of pocket.
Yeah.
And again, there is conversations going on. I am talking to the presidents. I do have a dream, kind of the Martin Luther King way, that one day the Concordia University System will offer the same cost at every university for church work preparation. And that puts the student in the driver's seat, not anything else but the student. And, it's going to take some time to get there, but this rush to give free tuition, which St. Paul does now in a way, I want all of our Concordias on this one topic to be unified. Compete everywhere else for students. I don't care. Give scholarships or whatever. But on church work, I want to have it unified so that the student gets to choose wherever they want to go. They get the same thing. So
Yeah, you guys are quite the champions for church work, and it's really great for students to have these opportunities to be able to afford church work programs. It's really awesome.
We're trying.
Yeah. Now, we've talked previously about regional microcampuses. What's going on, updates with those that are happening right now?
Well, this was a little idea that's all of a sudden getting bigger.
Yeah.
No longer micro?
No, well, the idea is not micro. So here's the idea in a nutshell. To create small 2-year, so freshman, sophomore campuses that would have small cohorts of church work students.
Just church work.
So, maybe 24 church workers in the freshman year, 24 in the sophomore year. They, in this location, wherever this will be, they would study together, pray together, live in dormitories, in that location, and really develop those connections. And then after their 2 years at the micro campus, then would finish up at the mothership, whichever university is sponsoring that micro campus. That gives them an opportunity to be a little closer to home, to have a much more intentional first 2 years experience, and then go to the main university. We have had discussions already with 2 district presidents, 2 very different locations, and we're trying to schedule another one, and it's going to come this fall, I have no doubt, but that are very interested. And we are looking at both areas of the country that we once served, and some, in one case, very long time ago. There used to be a Concordia, and we want to be back there again. But also right in the Midwest, where these would not detract at all from our current universities. This would add to. These would be students who for whatever reason, they just don't want to go 5 hours away to school in their freshman year. They want to be a little closer to home, but we still want to give them the residential experience. So, when I was a student at Concordia Ann Arbor back in the early 80s, I was 12 hours away from Baltimore, but most of my classmates lived right in the Detroit metro area. So they went home on the weekends. I did not. So this would give us an opportunity to make that available to more students than our current multiple campuses have.
And this is, again, let's be clear, this is not Doug and I shoving this at the church. This is the church asking us to respond to their theoretical needs. And, we have one district in particular, we just were at this last week before coming here, who said, look, I got 30 kids that won't go to a Concordia, and I think we could bring them into a cohort locally. This also feeds into a whole nother level of things we're talking about, and that is how to expedite church work preparation, especially for pre-sem students. We're talking to the seminary presidents. In fact, we just had a conversation with John Bruss earlier today about a possible theoretical way to do that, to streamline it, get students into the mix of church work service quicker. So there's a lot going on there. And that's also a part of, looking ahead. We've talked a little bit about the vocational training on our campuses too. We won't talk about that today, but, that's just another level and another piece to expanding CUS to try to capture as many of our students as possible.
There's 1,000 ideas out there. Not all of them are necessarily good, but they're all worthy of at least some consideration. Some will, as I say, grow legs and walk, and some of them just, will say, well, that's not going to work. But we are all about exploring opportunities, and we're all ears. If you have something out there, drop us an email and let us know. And it might go somewhere, it might not, but at least let us know. We're listening.
All the work, all the visits, all the meetings. How do you see the Concordia Universities collaborating?
Yeah, they're doing a great job, really. To be frank with you, I'd like to see more just because I want to be a system, and the system has to be working together. But they do a great job at collaborating. One of the ways, my initial vision of the whole micro campus was the student would go for 2 years, and then they can choose what Concordia to go to. We figured out that that's probably not going to happen. We're going to need a Concordia to sponsor, But there again, there's openness. I think we've lived the way we've lived so long as a CUS system. I'll celebrate a year. Well, I just finished a year, July 1st. And so, this is the first year so much has happened in 1 year. I anticipate that much and more will happen in year 2 and beyond. And so the reality is it's just going to take time. But they know, I say they, the presidents and the university know how we at CUS feel about the system being a system. And I think the more we operate as a system, the more we can offer and the more we can collaborate to expand our work in a way that has never been done before in the CUS. And I mean, there is fields that are ripe that we can harvest. And it's just, we've looked at them from afar and said, yeah, we just can't get to them. That's not my style. If I can see it, we're going to figure out a way to harvest them. And so they know that. And it's taken them a year to kind of, I call him shock and I'm awe. And so, they're used to us now. This is not problematic for them, but trying to get us where we're going to go. And I'm thankful that the Lord has given us the opportunity to do this. Being bishop of the English district for 9 years, I know what it's like to have all these things going on in 22 different states in the English district and in the Ontario province of Canada. So the multiple dimensions of it is not a problem for me. It might be something they have to get used to, but they're working great together. I'm thrilled. We have great presidents and couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, we've got 2 things going for us, really. We have, of course, in the mid-21st century, common challenges for all of our universities and educating, higher education in general. But what's our biggest strength is we have a common mission to work together and to lean on one another. And that's starting to happen even this year. There, in future conversations, I'll tell you about some of this, but we have some conferences coming up.
That's right.
Where our staffs at all of our Concordias are going to be getting together and collaborating together and brainstorming. It's going to be just a wonderful year for some of these conferences. I look forward to telling the coffee hour about those in future episodes.
How can we learn more about what's going on with Concordia University System?
Yes, cus.edu. Feel free to reach out to Douglas or myself. We'd love to be speakers at conferences, conventions, gatherings. We just had an invitation this week to do a tri-circuit gathering in the Michigan district. I'll be speaking in Kansas at the Pastors Conference in October in Kansas. So yeah, whatever we can do to help push this forward, we're willing to. But yeah, cus.edu is the website, got everything on there.
Yeah, and while you're here at the youth gathering, if you go to any of the university booths, you'll see our pop-ups. There's a QR code that'll get you to cus.edu, or there's cards with another QR code that'll take you to the sign up for our newsletter once a month, low volume, but it's a way to get a monthly update on the Concordia University System.
cus.edu is the website for Concordia University System. Our guest today, the Reverend Dr. Jamison Hardy, President of Concordia University System. Dr. Hardy, thank you.
Thank you.
And the Reverend Dr. Douglas Spittel, Vice President for Concordia University System. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You've been listening to the Coffee Hour from the LCMS Youth Gathering in New Orleans. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Eibel-Seth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@kfuo.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.